Increasing concern about COVID-19 infections from Australia's hotel quarantine system have more state governments looking at the Northern Territory's model. The Howard Springs Centre has been asked to increase its intake of international arrivals in the face of the heightened threat from the UK strain of coronavirus. So why is Howard Springs being held up as the preferred model? Reporter Jane Bardon went behind the quarantine gates to find out.
It's a daily routine for all staff in the international section of the Howard Springs Quarantine Centre, where repatriated Australians are being held.
So every single day, all of us, clinicians and on-ground support, meet in the morning and the afternoons and have regular training.
Proper use of PPE is a key feature of the centre's rigid infection control regime. Movement between areas is also strictly controlled.
When they go in, they actually do a photograph of themselves prior to entry. That's recorded so the entire site can see A, who's entered, and B, what they were wearing.
There's also careful training in how to safely test the international arrivals, about 3% of whom have the virus, to make sure staff don't carry it out of the centre home, their biggest personal fear.
You go to the local supermarket and it is in the back of your mind, am I that person? And none of us want to be that person.
Since the UK strain came to Australia, measures have tightened further.
The practices we have changed have been the additional testing of staff every day.
One of the key ways that infection control is managed in the international side of Howard Springs is that staff from different sections don't go into other areas, so there's no crossover between isolation and the general population, the kitchen staff and the food packers.
The reason we do that is if there were to be a staff infection, we would be able to isolate that team, but we wouldn't lose the entire team.
While the centre's spread-out layout helps with keeping potentially infectious people apart, working outside in Darwin's heat increases fatigue risks, particularly for staff who've recently moved north.
Coming up here in the heat and the sun and being able to manage and do some nursing jobs like taking bloods, doing observations in the heat has been challenging.
Close attention is also paid to the catering challenge of providing 600 sets of 3 square meals a day safely.
Once we've packed all this, we go on site and then we get a swab test done at 4:30, all 20 plus staff members, and then we come back to get the hot food from the kitchen.
It's a set of systems all the staff here hope will withstand a constantly evolving threat. Jane Bardon, ABC News.